I woke up one morning to find my lake completely dead. The fish were gone, the water smelled toxic, and I knew something was wrong, but I never imagined who could be behind it. My own HOA.
This is the area we're focusing on. Notice the unusual patterns in the water and foliage. It's critical we understand what caused this.
The very people sworn to maintain our community had somehow poisoned my water, just to stop me from fishing. I couldn't believe it. Why would anyone go this far over something so small? As I stared at the ruined lake, I realized it wasn't just about me. It was about control, power, and petty revenge. Every rule they had ever enforced, every fine they had ever issued suddenly made sense. But what I didn't know yet would shock me even more. Their water supply depended on this lake too. Could my neighbors have unknowingly been drinking the same poisoned water? And if so, how far would I have to go to fight back? Before the nightmare began, life in our neighborhood felt like a dream. The streets were lined with tall oak trees, their leaves whispering in the wind as if greeting every passerby. Each home had its own charm, neat lawns and cheerful porches, children riding bikes down the quiet cul-de-sacs, neighbors waving hello without a second thought. My house was on the corner, just large enough for a small family, but cozy enough that it felt like home. My mornings were filled with the smell of fresh coffee, the gentle splash of water from the small fountain I'd installed by the garden, and the distant sound of birds welcoming the day. Life was peaceful, predictable, and safe. Fishing was my escape. On weekends, I would take my small boat out onto the lake at the edge of our community, casting my line into the calm water as the sun reflected golden streaks across its surface. It was more than a hobby, it was therapy. Every tug at the line, every moment of stillness, gave me a sense of freedom I couldn't find anywhere else. The lake was a sanctuary, shared by a handful of residents who treated it as a hidden gem within our neighborhood. Kids would gather by the shore, tossing crumbs to ducks or learning to tie simple knots for their fishing hooks. It was an idyllic slice of life, one that I never thought could be disrupted. The HOA seemed like a distant, harmless presence at first. Notices came in the mail from time to time, reminders about lawn care, small tweaks to paint colors, updates on community events. Everyone joked about how serious they could be about a crooked mailbox or the exact height of a bush, but it all felt like playful bureaucracy rather than a threat. I even admired the organization. It kept our neighborhood looking tidy, orderly, and desirable. The board members were familiar faces at the occasional meetings, middle-aged couples with clipboards and polite smiles, shaking hands as if they genuinely cared about our community. But even in the calmest communities, tensions can simmer unseen. Small irritations began to appear, subtle enough that most residents ignored them. A note left under a welcome mat here, a reminder of a minor rule there. Most of it felt benign. But to me, it hinted at something deeper, a culture of overreach. It wasn't aggressive at first, only persistent. There was an unspoken expectation that every inch of property adhered to some invisible standard. If a flower bed strayed from perfection, or a tree branch leaned a fraction too far, the HOA could, and would, take notice. At the time, I brushed it off. Rules were rules, I thought, and I was careful, even meticulous, about following them. My neighbors were a colorful mix. The couple across the street, Mr. and Mrs. Crawford, always seemed concerned about appearances, their lawn immaculate down to the last blade of grass. A few doors down lived the Rodriguez, whose lively children often caused minor chaos, bouncing balls over fences and leaving traces of muddy footprints. On the surface, everyone seemed friendly, but there were undercurrents of judgment, unspoken hierarchies dictated by who followed the rules correctly and who didn't. The community had the sheen of harmony, but there was always someone watching, always someone ready to report the smallest perceived infraction. For me, though, the lake was the heart of our little world. It wasn't just water, it was a living, breathing part of the neighborhood. Birds nested in its reeds, turtles basked on sun-warmed rocks, and the occasional heron would glide gracefully overhead, wings outstretched, as if inspecting the serenity below. I spent countless hours walking along its banks, feeling the tension of the week melt away with every step. In these moments, I felt truly at peace, untouchable, part of a natural rhythm that belonged to no one but me. The morning started like any other, yet it immediately felt different. The lake, my sanctuary, had been cordoned off more aggressively than ever. Bright orange tape zigzagged along the shoreline, and new signs proclaimed in bold letters, "No access, violation pending investigation." My stomach dropped. It wasn't just a warning anymore, it was a declaration of ownership by the HOA, an audacious claim over land that was shared, public within the community, and mine to enjoy. My hands trembled as I approached the barriers, and for the first time, I truly felt the weight of powerlessness. I stormed into the HOA office, documents in hand, photographs and letters neatly organized into folders. I demanded to speak with the board. I laid everything out before them: the chemical discoloration of the lake, the dead fish, the relentless inspections, the absurd fines, the whispers and rumors circulating in the neighborhood. And then, the bombshell. I revealed that the HOA had unknowingly endangered their own water supply. Documentation from environmental tests I had commissioned showed that the chemicals used to enforce compliance had leached into the shared water system. Faces paled. Hands fidgeted. Silence hung heavy as their authority collapsed under the weight of undeniable proof. After the confrontation, a tense calm settled over the neighborhood. The board, stripped of their authority and forced into public accountability, began taking corrective action. The chemicals that had poisoned the lake were removed immediately, and environmental experts were called in to restore the ecosystem. Dead fish were replaced, water quality was restored, and signs of contamination disappeared gradually. Standing by the shore, I felt a mix of relief, disbelief, and vindication. My sanctuary, which had been turned into a battleground, slowly returned to the peaceful haven it had once been. The HOA itself underwent a dramatic shift. Board members who had clung to authority now had to acknowledge their failures publicly. New policies were introduced, designed to ensure transparency and fairness. Inspectors were trained to focus on genuine safety concerns rather than trivial rules, and residents were encouraged to report grievances without fear of retaliation. Slowly, the community began to rebuild trust, not only with the board but also among themselves. I had hoped for justice, but the resulting awareness and reform exceeded my expectations. And as I reel in the first catch of the day, the sun reflecting off the water, I can't help but wonder, how many other quiet communities face similar abuse without anyone realizing it? How many hidden battles are being fought silently over rules, regulations, and power? The lake is peaceful again, but its story serves as a warning, a call to vigilance, courage, and action whenever petty authority threatens what is rightfully yours.